The over-under win total is 10.5. That's very lofty. They've got the second best odds to win the SEC. They've got the fourth best odds to win the whole thing this year. So let me tell you some things I think I know about Texas. I think I know Quinn Ewers should be a really big offensive weapon. He's got skill. He's got the experience. He's playing for the right coordinator. I consider Steve Sarkisian the coordinator there. He's the quarterback developer. Sark's really, really good at that.
The Texas Longhorns have shown lots of promise the last few seasons, but last year, they really broke through into becoming one of the top-notch programs in college football. I really feel like when they beat Alabama at the beginning of last season, that was the moment where it was like, Texas football has arrived. I know everyone, of course, wanted them to win a national championship, but I really think Texas is here to stay, and in this video, I want to break down what you can expect from the team in 2024. I'm going to talk about some of the specific players and so much more. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. Alright, so I've never made a video about this team before, so I want to kind of talk about some of the specific players on both offense and defense. So starting back with the quarterback position, the offense, Quinn Ewers is going to be the leader of this team. He has really embraced and is really stepping into that role this year. He already had a players only meeting. We are really seeing a lot of big steps from Quinn from a leadership position. And I can't wait to see how it translates on the big stage. And when Quinn is on and is in a groove, everything he does looks so effortless. He looks like he was born to play quarterback. We saw that in the Oklahoma game when they won 49-0 and the 2 Alabama games. Everything just looks so fluent. Next up, let's talk about Jaden Blue. I think he is going to be sending shockwaves throughout college football this season. I'm excited to see what he can do as that workhorse type of back. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people and he's going to put his name on the map. And he's the type of player that can show some flash and get those big gains. He's like one of those guys you pull out a few times a game when the defense is worn down from the other backs. Now for Isaiah Bond, his big value in this Longhorns offense is his ability to make those contested catches and come up with those 50-50 bombs. I think he could really become a big target for Quinn Ewers, especially in the red zone. And when you think of Bond, you automatically think of that 4th and 31 play. Next for Silas Bolden, he's the type of receiver that I think can sort of step into that Xavier Worthy role. He can truly do it all. He's got the speed, he's got the physicality, his route running is really fluid. I think he can be a secret weapon. And he's going to be everywhere in this offense and even on special teams. Whenever Steve Sarkisian can get him the ball, he will, and he may be small, but he plays a lot bigger than his size. Now for DeAndre Moore, some of you may disagree with me on this, but we saw him playing with the ones a bit, and he is your classic old reliable type of guy. He's a savvy route runner, he's become a very consistent target for Quinn, and he's the type of guy you love to have in your locker room because he's the first one in and the last one out. He's super dedicated to his craft, and I can't wait to see what he can do on the actual field this season. Next, let's talk about the projected starting tight end Gunnar Helm. He's a pro in the way he prepares. He's a guy as a young kid playing football that you should look up to. He's super consistent with his workouts. He's where he needs to be when he needs to be there. He's a better blocker than JT Sanders. I'm expecting a pretty solid year out of him. And not many guys are willing to sit for 3 seasons, but he did. He knows everything there is to know, and now it's his time to shine. But let me know what you guys think. Now to get to the offensive line, Kelvin Banks is a Sunday type of player. He's gonna go first round. You can count on one hand how many pressures he's allowed in his past few seasons at Texas, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. He's not a big talker, but he's a lead by example type of guy. You really never have to worry about him. He's always gonna show up and be one of the best players on the team and in all of college football. Now moving over to the defensive side of the ball, let's talk about Ethan Burke. He's worked very diligently on his game from the moment he stepped on campus. He's truly a student of the game. I expect to see some very vet plays from Burke this year from a room that really needs it. Now for Algo to put everything together on a consistent week-to-week basis. He's kind of one of the wild cards on this team that could either be really, really good or really bad to the point of being replaced. He might very well be the player that determines the type of defense the Longhorns have this year. Next up, we have Burton. He's in a sort of similar situation with Collins. We see spurts of his athleticism, but there are times where he becomes non-existent. Texas fans are really hoping he can be that force that can disrupt the run game. One of the things that came out of the most recent scrimmages is that he has a very noticeable quick first step. Now for Barron Sorrell, he's a very solid player. He's always involved in every play, he flies around the field. I think having deeper talent in the room this year has elevated his game because iron sharpens iron. I just think we will see Barron be more consistent this season than we have ever seen before. And he has that takeover capability where every now and then he can become a complete game changer. The Longhorns really need to see more from their edges this year from what we saw last season. Trey Moore is also kind of a hidden gem in the edge room. He doesn't look like a scary or super aggressive player, but he's a special talent, and I think when it's said and done, he could very well lead the room in sack. I think he's going to wreck some havoc against those SEC offenses. To me, Texas will not win a championship without having really good defensive line play. Alright, a few more guys left. Let's talk about Anthony Hill. He is the staple of this defense, and this could very well be the year that he solidifies himself as that glue guy. He has a natural freakish ability, and he's going to make it known to everyone that he is not a guy to mess with. And a bold prediction is that he could win SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Next up, Jahdae Barron. He is the veteran in the secondary. He's got all the experience. I expect him to help out the guys around him. He plays tough, he's aware, and Texas needs him to step up into that vet role. Alright, now moving on, let's look at the schedule that the Texas Longhorns have to play. I know the landscape of college football as a whole is going to be different this season with the new playoff format, but I still think teams are really going to push for and prioritize one of those top 4 spots. With Texas playing in the SEC, that creates a lot of big and exciting matchups. They play Michigan in week 2, and currently right now they are ranked number 9. Week 6 they play number 16 Oklahoma, then the following week they play Georgia, in what honestly could go down as the game of the year. And they also end the season facing Florida, Kentucky, and Texas A&M. I think it's realistic to expect Texas to lose at least 1 or 2 games with this schedule, which will still be good enough to get to the playoffs, and they will be super battle tested and ready to go by then. Either way, I think we all just need to take things one step at a time. Week 1 is against Colorado State, and that's where the focus should be. We all know in this sport how many teams look past their opponent and onto the next week, and so many times it backfires. That's really all I have to say for this one. Let me know in the comments below how you are feeling about this team as we approach week 1. And if you made it to this point and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly means the world. And until next time, I will see you all later.